Don't forget to sing.
I will. On today's show, the gals talk about their experiences with the friend zone, being put in the friend zone, placing others in the friend zone, what the friend zone means. Also, Caitlin and Derek saw each other at Lewiston Brewfest, and that was fun. I also ran into Dara said like Sarah, but with the D.
You got
And
it.
I met her mom, Tara, who, not kidding, is spelt like Sarah, but with a T. Not kidding about that. Do you have experience with being put in the friend zone, or have you placed someone there? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Time Spent Poorly YouTube for your fix of food and friendship. And now, your hostesses with the mostesses on this rated M for Mature podcast, Bree and Caitlin. The naughty and awful speaking Bree and Caitlin.
Hey, we're funny,
Rated M, rated
right?
X.
Caitlin
Yes.
and me think that we could be potentially funny people.
Yeah. Also, here's a funny thing. I was trying to tag you in my post, and I almost tagged Snoop Dogg instead of you
'Cause
as
my-
Snoopy Dupes.
Yeah.
And I kind of now almost want to just like tag Snoop Dogg on my Instagram
Do it.
because
We
I
could blow up, go viral.
I have a real crush on him.
You do? Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like just so like listen to Snoop's voice is just so smooth and nice.
I have
It's
a crush
just-
on Martha Stewart.
Well, perfect. We can just.
We'll be a couple. We'll all
Oh, we
be
could go on
power
dates.
couples.
Yeah. Wow.
She'd make me food, and I might die from how much butter she puts in everything.
Worth it though. Well, she'll make you food. Snoop will smoke you out.
Perfect. They
Yeah.
should do a weed show, like a weed and
She
food
served
show.
some hard time.
She did
Yeah.
for smoking weed.
No. For embezzlement. Yeah. Yeah. Out of the two on that show, only one is a felon. I didn't make that joke up, but
Oh.
but laugh at it like I'm funny.
Dude, I bet you
That's-
Snoop Dogg bailed her out.
That's a
He's
theme
like,
today.
this is the gang that you join, and this is the gang you don't join. Don't get a swastika tattooed on your head. We can't be friends if you do.
This is some back end stuff, but I don't know if you also noticed that I have eliminated the feedback issue that I had the last couple weeks.
You killed everybody that gives us feedback.
No, the feedback, the static that we were
I know.
hearing. I went and fixed it.
Audio jokes.
I went and unplugged everything and replugged it in and figured it out. I'm a real producer. I'm a real boy.
Oh, a real boy now. Okay, now the world knows that we're recording.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think this podcast has officially started.
Oh, it did.
Okay.
Oh, it's on. Yeah. You're
Oh,
on
it
YouTube.
started. I just was so hung up on tagging Snoop Dogg on accident. I had to do a revamping on my story, but now I'm done. So I'm here and I am part of this event.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about events later on because you guys did go to an event. But I want to just really quick say that this episode's going to be about friend zoning. So stick around for that because we are going to talk about one of our listeners who wrote in a couple weeks ago, or more than a couple weeks ago, about the judo guy. We're going to talk about his situation because he did reply to us and we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. So we're going to talk about it this week.
Highway to the friend zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're headed today.
Thank you, Derek.
I was supposed to go on a road trip today, but due to weather pooping on my life, we're going to do a little road trip down to friend zone land.
It just spread its cloudy cheeks and took a shit on your life.
This snow is bumming me
I
out.
know. I'm ready for
Do you ever
spring.
get like depressed due to the weather? Well, not just seasonal depression because I feel like that happens too, but just specifically like the last 2 weeks have been really hard on me with like it's been really gloomy. The snow and driving the snow stresses me out. Work's been slow because of it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan because I work outside all day long, and it makes it hard to work. And I'm just like, I'm definitely at my happiest when nature is at its fullest. So spring.
When nature is also at its happiest.
Yeah, like I love spring and I love early summer. I'm not a huge fan of how hot it gets here in the summer.
That's
but
because we're dainty, fair-skinned gingers. We have to be careful.
white people problems.
Yeah.
One of the few problems that white people have.
I'm the sun.
The sun.
I agree though. Like I'm the spring. I also love the fall because I think it's really pretty.
Yeah.
And it's not quite as hot.
I love the fall purely for fashion reasons because
That's when sweaters get to come back.
Yeah, I love sweaters and I can't wear that in the summer and stuff. But yeah, I cover up anyways. But and in the summer I just don't leave my house, just like winter. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I want to show the viewers on YouTube anyways. The Spotify people won't be able to see this, but right now we're drinking. Because we're talking about the friend zone. We were going to drink wine, but I bought this botanical vodka instead. And I have a grapefruit rose flavor and a peach and orange blossom flavor. And they're by
Kettle One. We're not even sponsored. This is free advertisement. Guys, don't think we're just doing this because we're getting all those ads. This is one of the few that is not an ad. We just really like it.
We pretty much are going to not be an advertising podcast probably, so you don't have to ever worry about that. But I'll show the viewers really quick.
So you speak that on me, Ricky Bobby. I want to be an advertising podcast. I want money.
I want free stuff in the mail, like free Kettle One.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, I won't say no to free gifts, but whatever. So here's this one. I'm going to show the viewers really quick. Can you see this?
So that's the peach and orange blossom? Yes.
And here's this one. The grapefruit and rose.
The grapefruit and rose one, I thought I'd like the peach one more. Also, it might be because I'm putting them in my LaCroix and sparkling water. I put the grapefruit and rosé one in my pineapple and strawberry LaCroix, and it was delightful. And look at Sable.
Here's this dog.
Oh, Savannah.
Yeah.
And then I put the peach in my cranberry raspberry Winco version of LaCroix. It's very nice, but it's also hard because all the vodka just stayed at the top of my can. This is why you should probably put it in cups.
Shaken, not stirred. Yeah, the grapefruit probably does taste really better with that. Peach carbonated. I don't know.
Peach was good when I just had it by itself was really really nice, but the grapefruit mixed nicer. But also, like I said, I didn't plan to put them in these. I just thought it'd be nice.
And they're really delicious. And we're taking shots of it the entire episode, so because we're talking about friend zones. I also have this so yesterday I went to Spokane, Washington, and I bought myself a wedding dress.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Applaud.
Yes, thank you.
I'm very excited for you and that
I
day
know,
you
I'll
had.
show you a picture. I haven't shown very many people it, so I'll show you a picture later. But
I feel so honored.
Yes.
You're not going to make me wait like
No.
Derek.
I mean, I don't look fantastic in it because it's too big for me, but
Well, you're going to get fitted.
oh yeah,
So.
it'll be all done and ready for
Yeah.
the wedding. But afterwards, because I get more excited, I get more excited to eat when I go up to Spokane. So after we got the dress, which by the way, it took me only trying on 2 dresses to realize the second dress is the one I wanted.
You're just like, yep,
I
done.
was like, this is it, guys. I got it. Let's go eat now.
Did you just go to a bridal shop?
I did. I went to Believe Brides in Spokane, Washington. And yeah, it's a really stupid name. No offense, you guys. It's a really stupid name. You need to change
Well,
it.
apparently they won't be sponsoring us anytime soon with free wedding
Hey,
dresses.
I gave them quite a large sum of money, so fuck them if they get offended. So. And then I went to David Bridal's afterwards. I had an appointment with them afterwards in case I didn't find anything at that first store, and I ended up canceling that one because I found
Yeah,
because
because you didn't need to.
But we still went anyways, and got bridesmaid dresses.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was fun. I'm really glad that I didn't go to David Bridal's because, like, they had the floor plan was really weird. No privacy at all for any of the brides, which I thought was really
It's weird when you do
unattractive.
dress shopping. Yeah, it doesn't feel like an intimate setting for you, and also they just go and pull all of these dresses for you, and they just like
Exactly.
throw them at your face and say like, put these on, and then you walk out in front of everyone in
Yeah.
the store.
The first place that I went to, we had our own room, so it was just me, my mom, and our assistant, and that was really nice because she was really helpful. I showed her a picture of the first dress that I wanted, and she found one almost exactly like it right away.
Yeah.
And I tried it on. Derek's playing around with music.
Do you believe in life after love?
I do. Maybe.
Just checking.
Except there's no afterlife. What? Sorry, that lost us like 50,000 viewers. that we don't
50,000,
have.
man! I can't believe we were up that high. Worth it.
with so many, yeah.
We're
Anyways,
never gonna get in the black now.
yeah. So, anyways, I tried on that first dress, and I was like, yeah, this is good. This is exactly the one that I found, I wanted online. But then I found a second dress and tried it on. I was like, well, this is it, guys. This
That
is
was
the
the
one. And my mom picked out like 5 other dresses for me to try on, and they were all awful. And I was like, thanks, Mom.
Did you still try them on?
I did. For her. I tried them on for her.
Yeah.
And then, but I was like, I'm still picking that second dress I tried on.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, that's definitely you. It looks like you. It looks like something you'd pick. And I'm like,
You're
yep.
like, yeah, and I'm about to pick it right now. Here's
Yeah.
my money. Take my money.
Exactly. I did. I gave him my money, and then I left.
And then, anyways, you got to eat this delicious food.
Yeah, afterwards we went to, how do you say it?
Zona Blanca?
Zona Blanca ceviche. And it was so fucking delicious, guys. It's a great Mexican food place,
And for people who don't know, ceviche is when you cook seafood in acid, so it doesn't actually ever hit heat.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why there's so much lime in that shrimp, is because you're taking raw shrimp and you're putting it straight into lime juice with other seasonings and things like that and letting it sit for a few hours, and the proteins change into making it like a cooked shrimp. And then you got like an ahi one, so same thing, but they use different acids and different flavorings.
What acid do you think they use to cook the tuna?
Probably lemon or lime. I think maybe a little bit both. I don't know. I don't know. It was just because they obviously added more after, with like the serrano peppers. Maybe I think there's some tomato. It looks like is in there for sure.
Yeah, the shrimp one is definitely my favorite. The lime in it, oh my god, and it's so spicy. It's so good.
And Brie posted a couple photos on the Instagram, but one was an octopus dish. And we were talking about it before the show because I've tried it. If you guys have a chance to go to this place, definitely the best octopus I've ever had. It's so tender. Like, octopus can be so chewy and so rubbery. Like, it's a real hit or miss. And this one, fuck, man.
Hit or miss.
Plus, I'm so in love with the owner. He's so cute. I just want to kiss his face. I know he has a girlfriend, but I want to steal him away from her and let him cook for me.
Just go up to him and start sucking on a piece of octopus in front of him. Just
like on a tentacle. Be like, you into this, boy?
Just really tongue that octopus tentacle.
Ew.
I am now.
Yucky.
I like it. I mean, yeah, I've only had octopus once before in France. I'm not even joking about that. I'm not even joking.
Not even joking. It was actually in France.
It was, and it was at a. Yeah. Anyways, moving on with that, I had to throw that out there because you can't travel without being a bitch about it. So, and it was bad. It was really bad over there, and it was chewy, and I was like, yep, it's salty and chewy, just like everybody said it would be. But having the octopus dish, which we got originally for free, he brought it out on accident, and was like, here's your octopus.
Oh, that was one of the accident?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, we didn't order this, did we? But we were eating it. And it was so good. And I was like, I gotta go pay for this. Because we were gonna eat all of it.
Yeah,
so.
it's too good.
Yeah.
And then someone at the table over is just like, that's ours.
I know. They were probably looking at us eating their thing and like really pissed. But it was so good.
Did you love the style of the place?
So I loved the atmosphere, but the floor plan was confusing. So we went in, and there was a brewery, which I also did get a couple drinks from. A really good 75, whatever that's called.
A French 75?
I don't know. I can't remember what the cocktail was called. I should have taken a picture of the menu. And then I got a Golden Girlfriend Pale Ale.
Okay.
And that was really good. But yeah, so you walk in, and then there's a bar right away, and I was like, oh, are we even in the right spot? And the place was in the back, so you walk straight back, and then that's where there was like a line and one chef that would prepare everything, and he seemed very overwhelmed, which I felt bad about because there's a lot of people in there like getting food. So I think that's why he messed up on giving us that order. But everything was so good, worth every penny, and it is a little expensive.
But it's like quality seafood, and it's
fresh,
a different kind of.
It was fresh and delicious, and yeah, I'd definitely go back. I really sad I didn't get the grasshopper dish.
I'm sad you didn't either.
I had planned on ordering it, but then I realized when I got my receipt, I got the wrong number. So
it's like, oops.
I ordered the wrong one, but oh well.
Next time.
Yeah. I went back there and I asked him, I was like, do you have a grasshopper, like one singular grasshopper I could eat? And he's like, no, we grind it up into like a salt so nobody complains. So.
That's funny. I just want one single grasshopper, please.
I would like to have a single cooked grasshopper, please.
I will pay for it. I will pay actual money.
I'll give you a quarter.
That's a deal.
That is kind of an expensive grasshopper.
Yeah.
So.
What a bargain.
So, yeah, what did you guys do yesterday while I was in Spokane? Derek and Caitlin went to an event.
Brewfest
2019.
Lewiston Brewfest. It was fun.
Brew. That's what I call it.
Oh, cool.
No, I've never called it that, but maybe I will.
That's what I called it that one time right now. That's what I've always called it since right now.
Is Lou Brew.
That one.
Lou Brew
Lou
2019.
Brew.
2K19. That's how I say it.
Lou Brew started new.
Yeah. Did you guys like it? You guys have fun? You guys are a little hungover today, so I'd assume you had fun.
I was not hungover.
I felt a little, I didn't feel my best this morning. I feel much better now, but this morning, I don't know. I mean, I also ate crappy Chinese food afterward. I mean, it's great, but it's not good for you. So it could have been a combination of my eating choices. I had a lot of beer, though, because my brother went, and it was cool, because he's now, like a baby in my life, and now he's able to
go out to do these things.
Yeah, and all of his friends are old enough to go, which is weird, but I love it. And saw Derek. Derek's saw Chaz. And,
I had a real bromance yesterday with Chaz.
Yeah.
It was very lovely.
I saw you guys talking, and I could just see. I was going to come say hi, but the way you guys were looking at each other, it was
love.
It really was. It was beautiful, and
it was a good moment.
Tender.
It was a
tender.
Very good moment. Yeah. A little tender, too.
Yeah. Tender.
No, it's not. So so Mr. Swan, the co-host of the sports program on TSPN. Shameless plug there. He was gonna come up, but because of the downpour of snow the night before, he lives in Boise.
Yeah.
This wasn't a great idea to come up for a Lewiston Brewfest.
Yeah.
So he stayed down there, but I had already bought my ticket, which I had initially messaged you to see if you wanted it because I didn't know if you had one. And I was like, well, if someone's gonna have it, might as well be you. And you'd already had one, so I was like, well, I'll reach out. And I asked Adam, but he didn't. He's like, I'm gonna have a lazy day today. I'm like, okay. So I ended up just going because my thinking was it came with 8 tokens and the glass. So I was like, I'll go get my glass and I'll drink 8 tokens.
Yeah, so
worth
like
of
2
beer.
beers.
Yeah, and then call it and come home. I ended up seeing my cousin there and a bunch of other friends, and so I stayed for the. Yeah, I stayed for the whole thing. Even though I was there, I wasn't there for the whole thing because I showed up about 3:30.
Okay, so just like it starts at 2 typically.
Yeah.
So just
almost 4
Yeah.
was when I got there. So the line was super long when I got there, which it still went by really fast.
Yeah,
It
they have a
was not
good
bad at
system
all.
of like how they're checking IDs, doing the wristbands. Yeah.
And because I wasn't really there with Bree, I didn't really care to go try a bunch of different ones. I just went and tried the one that I already know is pretty good, and that's that haze one from
Sierra.
MJ Barley Hoppers.
Oh, okay. I didn't have any of their beers, which that's a local brewery.
Yeah, and it's one of those stronger ones there. So I was like, well, I'll get more bark for my bite.
Yeah, that's kind of I always check out the percentage.
Yeah, and I already knew that I'm familiar with that one because I've had it at the bar.
Yeah.
So I just drank that one, and because I went up to them and was like, hey, I just go ahead and fill it up. And they're like, have you had this before? And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have a line, so I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I went to that one.
Yeah.
Because there was no line. Because I was like, I was just going to get my 2 beers and go.
Yeah.
But then I saw my cousin and I saw another friend, Paul
Blart.
Page, who is a listener of sports program. He actually won the Pigskin Pick'em. And then I found out he had Anthem on Xbox. And so we talked about Anthem for a while. And we're gonna hook up on there as well, so that's pretty cool. And then I saw Chaz and Maggie and you and
Dara like Sarah.
Oh, and then I kind of made a joke. It was kind of fun. So Dara actually came up and said hi to me, introduced me to her husband.
Yeah.
And then her mom was with her. This is my mom, Tara. I'm like, oh, Tara like Sarah with a T. And she's like, yeah. And she goes, and this is my friend. And I go, oh, Kara? Is it Kara like Sarah with a C? And she's like, no. And it was like Melissa or something.
Yeah.
It was like some completely not
even close.
I was like, oh, well, I'm 0 for 1, whatever. I'm 2 and 1. That's fine. No, it was I had a good time. I also ran into a friend from work. His name's John. He's a good guy. And so I had a decent time. I actually felt really fine. I had the 2 beers, and then I went to an ATM and I got enough tokens for 2 more beers.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 4, I think. And then maybe somebody gave me tokens for 1 more. Maybe I had 5. And I was still, like, at the very end of it, I was still like, well, good to go. See you guys later. Head home. Like, yeah, got home. Or I stopped by McDonald's, got home. And then I think, like, all at once, they hit me. And I all of a sudden did not feel very good. And I went and laid down and then passed out in apparently a boiling hot room.
Yeah,
that she rescued
the
me
heater
from.
was on high when I got home.
Yeah, we always put it on a timer so it turns off.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And we turn down the heat a little bit, so it's on a timer. So usually it runs for about 2 hours and then stops, and then the heat just stays in there. Mm-hmm. I did not turn on the timer though. I just passed out, and I initially wasn't even going in there to pass out. I was going in there to lay down and watch YouTube videos on my phone until you got home, and then that's not what happened.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I like Brewfest. I like the people because I went with Chaz and Maggie, and then we met up with like 8 more of our friends because usually we have like a group that tends to go. So, slowly everyone started coming. Hope and Luke came, ran into you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw them too.
Yeah, so they were there. Like I said, my brother was there, and he's been 21 for a couple Brewfests, but this is his first Brewfest that his friends have been 21. So I was really excited to see him be really excited about his friends. So I hung out with them a lot. And then it just kept it's funny because as you're getting a beer and you're moving to go different places, you like morph into other groups and see people. Yeah. And like I saw my ex-sister-in-law and talked to her for a bit. I saw my boss. We saw Mindy was there. Did you see Mindy?
Yeah, I saw Mindy, yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun seeing her. It's kind of cool. But it also is, you have a lot of people that go to this event because there's not a lot to do in the wintertime in the valley, especially with the weather. So there also are people that you're like, do I want to avoid this person so I don't have to make small talk? Which I didn't have to, I didn't get pinned into any weird small talk yesterday, and I was very happy about it. Because sometimes I'll see people that I'm not very close with or I just vaguely know or whatever, and then I have to awkwardly stand there and just sip my beer until I can be like, well, gotta go get another one.
Right.
And I am not good at small talk. So I'm like, please let me leave.
I will also add that it's events like that are interesting too because we for the podcast, I sometimes think maybe we're getting a little annoying with how much I post on Facebook every show and all that stuff. But it must be working. Because I ran into a lot of people who listen to sports program and listen to FrienDish and listen to Basement Boys, and they're like, "Man, we really like what you guys are all doing." And like seriously, a lot of people came up to me who I like know like through Facebook, and they're like, "Yeah, I've been watching FrienDish and I listen to the sports program when I'm at work." And I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome."
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think it's funny.
Whoa.
A lot of people ask me my opinions on like. They'll ask me my opinions on like different sports things, and I'm like, you guys know we're just fans. Like, I'm not I'm not delivering any analysis. Yeah. I don't know any. I've never met LeBron James. Like, I don't know.
You just talk like you know him.
Yeah.
Okay, what if I actually don't know how sponsoring a beer works at Brewfest, but what if somehow we pulled all our money and at one of the Brewfests, the network, we sponsored one of the beers.
Oh, I think that'd be a really great idea.
Awesome. That would be dope because I think like I know it's businesses, but I think anybody. Yeah, I don't think it has to be like a brick and mortar business. Like I think anybody can sponsor it. That would actually be really cool, and then we could pour, and then pouring at Brewfest is so much fun.
I've never done it, but I would love to. It'd be fun.
I did it in Seattle at the International Brewfest, which was a blast. That one is so big. I mean, they have like 300 beers or something. It's a 3-day event. That's way different. But and then I poured
300 beers in 3 days to be drunk.
Yeah, you have to drink all of them. Otherwise, you're not allowed to come back the next year.
That's a lot of carbs, guys.
But we poured at the Lewiston one 2 years ago, and it was just fun. You do it for half a shift, and you get to just like talk to people, and it's funny to be on the like side of just observing all the people drinking. And then afterwards you get, because if you're pouring, especially if you sponsor, you get tickets, but then you get to like then go participate in Brewfest and do it, and it's really fun.
It's interesting too. Zach was saying he likes going to it as well. He was pretty bummed he didn't get to make it up because he said it's kind of what we were talking about. It's like before the show started, how you see people when you're gonna go, you're like, oh, I'll see a lot of people I don't know. I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And then after you get done going, you're like, I saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time.
For me, it's the exact opposite. I see a lot of people I don't know, and then I just watch. And I'm a sassy bitch.
I actually love the people watching at Brewfest.
So good. You see some really trashy people come out of the woodworks and some like really like.
Well, it's also really interesting. So we are waiting in line, and I was like, every year a new generation is allowed into Brewfest.
Oh my god, you're right.
So like a new crowd, like it continues to get bigger and bigger because every year it can get bigger. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I love my favorite types of people are the housewives or the moms that dress like they're in high school still.
Okay, so that's what
like with the flower crowns and the UGG boots, like they think that's what everybody still wears and out in public.
What I think is weird is seeing the women who go in these high heels,
high class prostitute wear. Like,
it's like they have really high heels, really short clothing, whether that be short dress, short like top or both. And it's like, you're gonna get drunk at this event with 2,100 people at it, like.
And it's snowing outside.
And it's snowing because this is the winter time.
And the whole parking situation, by the way, was the worst this year ever because
they couldn't get the back half plowed.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually had to park on the street because the only thing that was left was the field parking, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get out.
Yeah, you get with a foot plus of snow that's been accumulated, and it's probably underneath is all ice.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
I saw people having to push out of there and stuff when we were leaving.
I bet because we got there just in time. That the other overflow parking lot, there were still some spots. So we got there. Because we got there, like, right at 2. But because they didn't have those two back halves of those parking lots, everyone was... And I think that's why the line got so long, is because everyone was spending so long trying to park, then everyone was trying to get in at the same time.
Right. Also, just letting everybody that's listening know that everyone in Lewiston, Idaho, sucks at driving in the snow because we live in a valley where it doesn't snow very often.
And decided to get rid of our snow plows.
Yeah, and an inch of snow just... Everybody's
Snowmageddon.
Like nobody can drive. Nobody gets snow tires. We don't have anything set aside for the city budget for plows or gravel. And if we do, it's usually like one truck.
Not a lot.
For the whole town.
And they do like they do like Thane and Brighton, and that's like it.
They do the main roads.
Yeah.
Well, and like where we live, if we're going to work, all we have is downhill, just all downhill and all uphill. Like God. So you're just like, cool. And I was telling Chaz this, like, I was really stressing out about the snow. And part of the reason is because when I got out of high school, well, I got an actual car. I got my license before, but I didn't actually start driving till right when I graduated. And then I immediately moved to Seattle. We didn't get any fucking snow, and I didn't drive in Seattle. I did public transit.
You shouldn't drive in Seattle.
And then I came back for a year, and then I moved back. And then the only time when I was living here and we got snow, was with Russ, and he drove everywhere, and we had a better vehicle for driving in the snow. So now it's like I've been driving for 10 years but never have had real experience in the snow. And this week like I felt a lot more confident cuz I had to drive in some shitty weather, but it was really giving me bad anxiety cuz I'm like I've never had this experience until now, and people are scary. Like I was watching, nobody was stopping at stoplights.
Well,
a Hummer almost hit me because they like
all old people.
Yeah, like weren't paying attention and slid on some ice, and like so I was facing south at a stoplight, and he was taking a left-hand turn, and he went to turn, he just kept sliding, and he flipped around to where his car was facing the same direction as me now, and his car was sliding just sideways, perfectly sideways at my car, and I was just watching him, and I was so mad because there's cars at every point of the stoplight. I'm like, there's nowhere I can go, and I'm just like, this is it. Now I'm gonna get hit, and my tiny Ford Focus, this Hummer, is gonna hit me, which is going slow enough. It would just like, been dings and scratches, but it was annoying. And he stopped just perfectly like a foot away, and I like rolled down the window, and he's like, sorry, like I lost control or whatever. I was like, are you okay? Confirmed he was okay, and then just drove away fuming because I was so mad because I was being so cautious and like avoiding everyone, and I was like, fuck man, if this guy hits me, I'm going to just lose my mind.
Lose it, yeah. I just want to throw it out there that Lewiston and Clarkson, Idaho, our little valley, is the equivalent of Florida. Like, we're the retirement capital of
Lewiston has
Idaho.
been ranked one of the top retirement cities.
It is.
By like 4.
So,
I don't know what number we are, but
Imagine the most infuriating traffic ever because everyone's going 5 to
it's
10
college
miles
kids
under.
and retired people
Yeah.
is who live here.
It's infuriating because nobody knows how to drive, and you're stuck either behind slow people or you're going the speed limit and somebody behind you is tailgating you because you're going the speed limit.
Yeah, one guy passed me on a so it's our roads are still or were still covered in snow, and then because they didn't get plowed, so it was just snow that kept being packed down. One guy, I was going 20 and a 25, and I'm like, at 8:30 at night, it's snowing and windy. I'm like, this is this is fine.
If it's residential, it's
And a
more
guy
than
fucking
fine.
passed me, and I was also like, okay, buddy, I'm glad you have that giant lifted truck, and and wherever you need to be, you'll get there 3 minutes
Yeah.
quicker.
We're also the type of town that has those piece of shit fucking retards out there. Sorry, that's not a PC term, but they infuriate me. The stupid ass people out there who drive their lifted trucks with their
Giant exhaust.
giant exhaust. No, not even. It's the people who have the Confederate flag flying on the back of their truck.
The
And
truck
it's-
nuts.
Yeah, and I'm like, we're in fucking northern Idaho. Are you from the south? Where is it heritage? Because if up here it's pure racism if you have the Confederate flag. And it is pure race. I'm not saying that the Confederate flag is about heritage. It is pure racism. And up here, that just affirms the fact that you're a racist. Just saying. Like,
It's infuriating.
I see people with the Confederate flag in northern Idaho, and it's like, racist.
Perfect.
All right. I can avoid you now.
One last thought on the Brewfest. I also do find it interesting how you'll see guys with their girlfriends there, and the girlfriends are just dressed to the nines, like they're going out to a nightclub, and the dudes are wearing like hooded sweatshirts
And just jeans.
Basketball
jeans,
shorts.
basketball shorts,
Flip-flops.
and flip-flops, and sweatpants. And
That's every bar
Like-
downtown Lewiston.
Like, I know I'm going to see people, so I want to dress presentable. Like, I brushed my hair
yeah,
yesterday.
you looked nice. You looked very
Yeah,
nice.
I did a little makeup, but also I was just
Girl,
wearing
you're always cute. Shut the fuck up.
I was just wearing a Sandlot, like, baseball tee
But it's still.
and jeans, and so it was, like, comfy but look good, but I'm not going to dress, like...
But there are girls that were like dressed to the nines, and then you see their boyfriend with them, and they're wearing what I was wearing.
Yeah, but they're just casual, because they're just at a really low-key...
I'm just as guilty.
Yeah.
You know, she'll dress not. I didn't wear SWIP. I did wear jeans.
Oh, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Brewfest is a low-key
yeah.
event of people drinking beer. It's in a fair building with,
It's
like...
cold.
It's cold. It's just one of those, like, cement floors. It's so loud because it's just, like, a tin, like,
Yeah,
cage.
it's like
so
a
it's like, I
basketball
don't know.
court
People
without
don't
the
need to
basketball.
dress up. We're just there to hang out and drink beer with our friends. Like,
Yeah, it's actually
it just
really
makes me
annoying
laugh.
you go to the downtown bars and you go to these shitty ass dive bars and you walk in and it's all the guys dressed exactly how you said, and then it's all the girls in prom dresses. They're wearing fucking prom dresses, and I'm like, did we check their IDs? Like, 'cause they're wearing like chiffon. So yeah, so let's move on to the topic we said we would talk about. Even though none
you don't
of
want to
us-
hear about our snow and Brewfest and
Yeah.
Spokane.
Yeah, we spent too long talking about our own shitty
It's okay.
lives. Like,
Moving on.
yeah,
Moving on.
we're just avoiding the topic because none of us want to talk about the friend zone.
No, I personally.
You love
like,
living in the friend zone, in our engaged life.
Boom, roasted.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I honestly
think it's an interesting topic.
Hey, guess what? I'm super cool, and I don't really have too many friend zone stories, guys, because nobody says no to me. No. I'm just
Have you
kidding.
ever friend zoned?
Oh, okay. Then that's a different story.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think-
that sounds really shitty of me to just be like, oh yeah, I friend
So
zoned
first
everyone.
off,
It's like a hobby for you.
that term, the term friend zone, does not go back actually that far, right?
No, it's like 2000s, right?
It's 2000s because it's to that movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Just Friends.
Mhm.
And so the term friend zone was not around when I was in. So, I mean, I would say I was placed in the friend zone a lot in high school.
But you didn't call it
But
that.
we didn't call it that because that's not what it was. More then, it was more like, oh, she told me I was like a brother to her.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the insult.
We just kind of.
I have a lot of running theories on this now, though. I
You're
have a lot
throwing
of,
it out there, though. You're really old.
Yes,
I love you.
I am. But I have a lot of running theories on it now that we could talk about as we get into the episode. just a lot of my opinions have changed on the friend zone, and I think that's due to my age though, and understanding being friends with people,
Being friends with women.
being friends with women especially. My opinions on the friend zone thing has really dramatically changed. I would say in my young 20s, after that movie came out and that became part of the lexicon, which, by the way, kudos to that garbage movie having a word that's entered into the lexicon. I mean, like, that's not a good movie. And
Ryan Reynolds is hot, always.
It's true, but I'm just saying
And he wears a fat suit and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a great movie, but for them
it
to
starts
have this
the
term.
conversation about incels too.
Yeah.
Without even having had the term in it.
And it has become like the incel like catchphrase for being friends with a girl who does not like you back.
Yeah,
so
friend zoned is
in
in
the friend
itself controversial because being friend zoned means you never had the intention of being friends with that person to begin with.
Do you think the friend zone is a negative thing? So I've heard people use it in like a really negative, like you got friend zone, and people feel really upset that they got put in there. Do you think
it's mostly used as a negative?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you feel like that's a negative? Because I agree with it. Like, I've been there where I'm like, I want to be your friend because I like you and we have common interests and it's fun to hang out with you. Yeah. But like, I am not romantically attracted to you, or whatever it might be. But I tried really hard not to use that kind of term around, because I was like, I don't want you to see this as a negative thing. Like,
no woman ever says flat out, I'm friend zoning.
Yeah, no.
No woman would ever be like, oh, you want to date me? I'm friend zoning.
Which, and I don't even know if men do that, to people's face. Maybe they,
it's a term used post being friend zoned. So when you've
and usually behind and like to your friends, like it's not really directed towards.
And I feel like it's mostly men who use the term. I don't really know too many women who like go around
in
and
the
be like,
sense
oh
that
my god,
men
you friend zoned me, and it's like, no, it's like, yeah, you just didn't feel that way about me, or like devastated. Like,
do you feel like men use it more because they feel like they get friend zoned more, like
because
they get put in that category, or are you saying they use it as?
It's definitely it's a men thing, because the way men go about getting close to women sometimes is like becoming friends with them first, and women don't do that. But I feel like women are very kind of flirty and upfront about their attraction for the most part. I feel that way, anyways. Is that wrong?
No, I
feel like at least they try. Maybe they do.
They like twirl their hair.
Yeah,
they bat their eyes, and you can kind of fucking tell.
Yeah,
when
I feel like they're definitely
coming on to you.
Yeah,
we don't make the effort to become friends with you first. We're like upfront, like, here's my vagina. Like, no, I mean, not like that. We don't do the Britney Spears, like, flash you.
Just pull it to the side and ask my opinion on it.
What
do you think of this?
Pull the curtains up.
I think I'm all right with it. Okay, so, and
not to get all, like, I don't know.
I'm not trying to, and I hope anybody listens to this show, they know that I am a pretty savage comedian, and I say things that I try to get people upset at a lot of things.
And it works.
And it works. So I am not what you would say is a huge social justice warrior. I am not. But on the topic of friend zone, the reason why I don't like it is because I do feel like it puts this connotation out there that when you say, I really liked her, but she put me in the friend zone and she only wants assholes. That whole thing, right? I feel like that's putting a lot of pressure on a woman. And it's there's an air of being owed something.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like this is where I'm not an SJW is because I'm not saying that because you're a man you think you're being owed something. I've never been really comfortable with anybody in this world thinking that they're owed anything. Mm-hmm. You have to earn things. And no one owes you anything. I don't owe you an apology. I don't owe you a relationship. I don't owe you anything.
You don't owe me your dick?
No, I don't owe you that. You earn that.
I did
every day.
I earn it.
You earn it every day.
On my knees.
Every day. You just earn it away. Good job. But you don't owe me anything. No one owes you anything. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I really started to get uncomfortable with the phrase. Because I don't like the idea of people out there thinking that they're owed something.
It's very true.
Regardless of gender and
They
who
feel
they're
entitled,
asking from. Yeah. There's an entitlement that goes behind it, and I don't like that.
I also don't like it because I feel like it's a lie. In my mind, I feel like when you get put in the friend zone, you're not even really friends with them.
Yeah,
like,
you stop being friends immediately.
Yeah, because for me, the people who that I can think of that I was like, one of us may have had an interest in each other in more romantic ways, and it didn't go for it. It's like we genuinely did love each other as friends, and either one, we knew we would not work out as a couple because when you're friends with someone, you see some really ugly sides to them, and you really get to know like who they are and like would you work with them, but also. So you know that like you're not going to work, or you really do value each other's friendship, and you're so scared that like if you start dating and it doesn't work out, you will lose that friend. At least for me, that's my experience, and so you don't want to do that either.
You value the friendship more than a potential
Than
romantic partner.
trying to put more on top of it. So I just feel like when people have been friend zoned, or like people that I'm like, I don't want to date you, I know like if I still want to be their friend. And but also if I don't want to date them and I don't want to be like, I'm not going to waste my time and pretend to be their friend.
I have a question. Have you ever boned a person because you know that that's what they want? You're friends first. You're really good friends. And you know that they want to bone you. And you want to indulge them on that. Sorry.
In the sense, like, I'm only doing it because this is what they want and I don't want it. Or I'm doing it to see if...
Oh, you're like, oh, what could it hurt? You know, like, it might not hurt anything, and then you could see, like, you could do a thing for them that's nice, and you might have fun, too. Like, have you ever done that? Because I have done that before, where I've known, or I've almost, on occasion, have almost gotten to the point of fucking them, because I know that's what they want. Like, it's guys out there, and girls, most people can know when you want to bone them. And if they're not, like, jumping on it right away, it's probably because they're not interested.
Yeah, I don't think I've done it where it's just like, well, this is what they want, so I should do it. There's been times where I feel like we both mutually want it. And I feel like there's been times with friends where it's like close, because in my head it's like, oh, like when you are friends, sometimes like something will happen, you start seeing them like in a different light, and you're like, am I attracted to you more? Do I want to date you?
Exactly.
And
that's
so
kind of where I was
like,
at with the whole,
yeah, like if maybe like if you do
like,
try it out, like
feet.
maybe that would like, it'd be like, hey, look, we are compatible. Like, we actually have a really strong chemistry this way. But I've never actually got that far or done. But I mean, I've thought about it, but then I'm just, again, I go back to, well, it's going to ruin it. And also, I've never had sex with someone that I wasn't like, yeah, I want to have sex with you too.
Yeah. I, just remembering off the top of my head, I haven't thought about this guy in years, but back in high school, there was this guy, and we became really close, like, friends. Like, we had a lot of classes together. We had this outdoor class together, which was a fucking amazing class to have in high school. We went rock climbing, we went biking, we did, like, you need that? Okay. We did, archery. We did all these cool-ass shit. And anyways, so we were really close in those classes, and we had a really good time. And I didn't realize it because I was a fucking not seventh grader. God, not seventh grader. I was a fucking, like, junior, I think. And we would go biking after school, too, because I really loved mountain biking and stuff. And so we'd take our bikes out and bike out into the state park and stuff. And one day he asked me, he was all like, so we've been hanging out a while, so, like, do you want to, like, date me and stuff? And I'm like, I was blindsided. I was fucking blindsided by it, because I thought we were just friends and we were hanging out and having fun and, like, doing all this sporty stuff together, and, like, it was fun. And then he blindsided me like that, and I felt so bad. I felt so bad that I didn't see that he was gonna do this.
Yeah.
So I just was like, in my head, I was like, just say yes. Just say yes, because you never know what it could be like. And you never know, like, give him a chance.
Yeah.
So I said yes. We dated for 2 months. A week into it, I knew I didn't feel the same way. And so for the next, like, so many weeks, I tried to break up with him. And it was bad because first his grandma died. Then his dog died. Then it was his birthday. And I was like, when do I do it?
Yeah.
When do I tell him? And I finally just, like, took him aside because all we ever did was, like, hold hands or some shit. I wouldn't let him kiss me because I was not attracted to him, and I felt really bad. And I finally was just like, dude, I gotta break up with you. I've been trying to do it for weeks now, but
It's just not working out.
and then we were never friends, and I felt so sad. And it was, that was, I guess, my only, it wasn't a friend zone thing, but he was in the friend zone without me saying it, but I agreed to date him anyways, briefly.
Yeah.
And I regret it because I really loved hanging out with him, but that was never his intention.
I just thought about this, and I wish I would have brought this. My brother one time bought this book of, like, how to get out of the friend zone. This, like, self-help book. And he left it at my house, and I have it. And I think it's so funny.
The friend zone for dummies.
But he felt like in high school he was always getting friend zoned. And, like,
He's a handsome dude.
It's a high school thing, though.
Oh,
It's a very high school mentality, though.
my brother
It
is very handsome.
He's a very handsome
very
dude.
But I could be wrong, and I might be making assumptions. He's a really nice guy, and he was very nice in high school and very considerate of people. He also was, like, he was more involved in riding bikes and scooters and hanging out with his friends than, like, wasting his time
Scooters.
dating. Oh, he was a scooter kid. Dude, that kid can do a backflip on a scooter.
Sorry.
Oh, it's amazing. It's kind of dope. He was super cool doing that.
Can you do a fact check, when were scooters made? It's an early 2000s thing, because I had one when I was in, like, first grade, and
Like
I was
the
always
Razor?
doing, like, the kick flip.
Well, he did some. He like built his own scooter. It wasn't
What?
like a
Oh,
razor.
cool.
Like it. Like
It wasn't
he.
those shitty ones that everybody buys.
I mean, that's what originally he got really into on. Like when we were little, we both got razor
But then
scooters.
built a new
Yeah,
good
and then
one.
but then he got, like, because with those decks they snap super fast. So if you hit
I'm
the ground,
just
they
throwing
snap.
this out there for your brother, and maybe I'm too drunk to say this, and I might regret it later on. But if he ever wants to get a tattoo of a razor scooter, I'll pay for it.
Oh shit.
Of a little tiny like, you know, those early
Yeah.
2000s with the blue foam handles.
He's talked about it. Like I've
I'll
thought,
get
like,
him a tattoo of
when
that.
I get a tattoo for Robbie, for my brother, because I have one for my dad, my grandma, my mom, and, like, eventually I'll get something for my brother. Oh, 100% it's gonna be a scooter,
little scooter.
for sure.
My dad broke his ass on one of those things. He went over a curve and hit his ass. I'll never forget that because he was so hurt.
Yeah.
He was trying to be cool. It was
He
2001.
was like, check out my flip, like kicking it.
My old ass dad. I love you, Dad.
But yeah, like he felt like he was always friend zoned because he was just nice and really considerate, and he was a respectful kid. And girls just were like, "Oh, Robbie's so sweet. He's so nice." And then that's it. Like they all became friends with him, but then nothing more. Because in high
That's
school, like
really
people,
weird.
it is weird. But he really felt like and I feel like he would become really close with friends, and even like the girls that he was like, "Ooh, I kind of want to date them." They were like, "Oh no." Like you're just no.
You're more of a brother.
And then
to
they
me.
kind of just stopped. Like some he maintained a friendship with, but like a lot of he's like, oh, okay.
Well,
Like
maybe he has to be more direct about his feelings then.
I mean, he's married now. He's fine. He did it.
No, I
Like-
know, but- I feel that's really interesting because I remember. I know this is inappropriate age, but everybody has had kid crushes, you know, like in elementary school and stuff. And I remember being nice to a girl was enough for all the girls to like you in elementary school.
Well,
all of them had crushes on you if you were nice to the girls.
I think for me, I don't know. It could be kind of opposite because like with Robbie, I think his thing was like, I'm gonna be really nice to her because I respect her and I like her and I think she's funny and I want to be around her. And then they just thought like, oh, he just wants to be my friend or he's just this kid, and you know, and it's weird. Like sometimes in high school, like you want people. It's like when they start picking on you is when you're like, oh, I think they like me, which is such an awful mentality. Like that's not the way to show anyone. But I've been guilty. Like I'll pick on, but I have that personality. Like if I have a crush on a guy, like I'll kind of pick on them and
oh
like.
no, I was the exact opposite. I was a fucking cunt. I was like,
Oh, I
if
wasn't
I'm picking
mean.
on you, it's because I'm a bully and I'm a horrible person, or just like I'm bored. Like honestly, to get in my pants, you had to be funny, which is how Derek got in my pants. So
He just made you laugh.
yeah, he's hilarious.
So the high school thing, and I think this is like something that you see a lot still. So the whole incel thing, I do feel like is a
What can you really quickly define incel?
Yeah,
I have met
okay.
people that don't know what
Okay.
incels are.
So an incel, I mean, it's abbreviated for involuntary celibate. So they do not have sex because people won't have sex with them.
Yeah.
And then they kind of get like this holier than thou mentality over it. They get like this holier than thou mentality about it. And people who do have sex a lot are like chads or whores. Basically.
Okay.
It's a really weird mentality. So as somebody who could have easily have been an incel, this is probably why the topic is always really interesting to me, is because I would say up until 21 years old, I really did not come out of my shell as far as like I was funny. Like I was the funny guy. I was a class clown. I was obnoxious. I'm like, that's the same. I've always been the same in that aspect.
Yeah.
But I wasn't good with women at all. And I had a really hard time talking to them in a way that was romantic, unless it was like MSN Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it was like really cringeworthy, and it was just really, really embarrassing. I'm so glad none of that stuff exists to read it. But I had a few friends in high school. One in particular that I still do talk to. Shout out to Jenny. I still talk to her. Who I was just absolutely in love with.
Yeah.
And she always kind of dated the guys that were like kind of pick on her and stuff. And to me, that just came off as like, oh, she only likes assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's completely changed now. But what's changed, and I've thought about this a lot, what's changed is not necessarily that I think that she only dates assholes. It's that everyone's an asshole. But when you're young and you've never dated anyone before, I think you have like a really unreal expectation of how you'll be to somebody once you eventually get to date them. So I didn't have really a girlfriend until I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I'll say it on this show. I did not lose my virginity till fairly late too.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised pretty religious, so like I was pretty much terrified of it. I have like had kind of a weird relationship with sex anyways, so I was definitely not ready. So when I liked girls or whatever, I moved super, super slow. So any of them that were really interested, I would have already washed that away because I'd put too much work in to be their friend, and they learned enough about me that where they weren't interested in me.
Yeah, they saw that side. Yeah, like what we were saying earlier.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
So I think the whole like the whole mentality is like they put me in the friend zone. They only like assholes, and then to accompany that, they say things like, "Don't they know how well I would treat them? Like, don't they know how good I would treat them? I would treat them like a goddess. I would treat them like they're holier than thou. I put them on the pedestal, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't, and I used to think that way too. I'm guilty. That's why I know it. And I would say till 20 years old, I used to think stuff like that. It's like, why do they only like these guys that are like mean to them? And I used to just say it was my weight, it's because I'm heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm heavy. They don't like me.
Use that as an excuse.
Yeah, I'm chubby. They don't like me. And then I started doing, so how I came out of the shell is I started doing music, and two of my best friends moved away. They went in the military, and they were really good at getting girls. And I was a good wingman for them because I could break the ice, and I don't care. I don't have any shame. But they moved away.
Yeah.
Really quick, I want to know what your excuse was for whenever somebody rejected you. Your personal excuse, what you told yourself.
Oh, like what he was saying with like weight.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt the same. Like I felt like, because that's for me. I always grew up as the chubby friend, and I was like Derek. I was always like the one trying to make jokes and do all these things, and a lot of insecurity about my looks because I was picked on a lot growing up about my looks, and so that's what I would. It was like, and I would get so frustrated because in my head I was like, if they would just get to know me, I'm a great person. I'm really funny. I'm super nice, and all these things. So that was in my head I couldn't ever wrap around
you're the
like
perfect wife because you cook. And
that's it. I just cook.
Style.
I do nothing else. I never do any other chores.
Thank God.
But yeah, like I would just blame it on
that
they didn't give me enough time. That they I always felt like it was a superficial thing. Like they looked at my looks,
Okay.
and then they didn't give me enough time to get to know me as a person.
Mine was
where I'm
personally,
going with
mine, just throwing it out there, I thought that mine was because I was a ginger, and I thought that everybody always made jokes about my hair and stuff.
And they knew you
And
didn't have a soul.
Yeah, they'd always go right to ginger
Yeah.
jokes, and so they'd be like, "Oh, like I bet you're." Oh, this was something that my friends made up, which wasn't great at the time, but they're like, "I bet you have jellyfish for boobs, like you have see-through boobs."
Oh, I was like, what? I
And I
don't
was
even
like,
know what that
what?
means.
Like they were like, "Oh, you're so pale. I bet you fucking like blind people when you're naked," and I'm like, maybe. and
I just wear
and
sunglasses.
also, I do remember, this didn't help my case at all, but I was like in elementary school, I was the first to develop, so I was taller than the boys. I was a very big tomboy growing up, so I played football with the boys. I didn't have very many girls for friends in elementary school. I was always playing with the dudes, so they called me the Jolly Red Giant, which was upsetting.
Yeah.
And I developed before all the other girls too, so I was getting boobs and acne in like
Sure.
late 6th grade, 7th grade. So I remember guys pointing out I had tits, pointing out I had a zit, and it was just like super super upsetting. I was like, and because I actually did have somebody that had a crush on me because I was killer at football in elementary school. I was fucking beat everybody up, and he had a crush on me because I knew how to throw a football, and he actually stopped having a crush on me because of all the shit people were saying, like, oh,
That
look
happens.
at her.
Yeah.
Like, he had a crush on me probably because also I had
Well,
boobs.
Our friends
but-
are influential on who we date,
Right.
and for me too. Like someone was telling me, like it's hard to get past those
Mhm.
things,
Yeah.
and when you're younger, now it's easier. We're older,
Sure.
but definitely when you're younger, and you hear things saying that you're like, well, I
Dude.
can't date that person,
Dude,
or
real talk though, like when did you realize that you stopped giving a shit about what people thought? Because mine was today, or not today, yesterday. Mine was yesterday at the bridal shop when I had to take a shit immediately before I tried on dresses. So I went to the bathroom immediately when they opened, and I was like, I have to use your bathroom. So I go into the bathroom and I take a massive shit. And of course there's somebody waiting outside for me to finish. And luckily they had like a poupon thing that I could like spray.
oh, you just look at me and go, everybody poops.
And I was just all like, leaving the bathroom, I was just like, sup. Left. And then I left and went on tried dresses. And it was so embarrassing. It was like embarrassing to think about, but when I saw the chick, I was like, I don't even care.
So to add to that, so that the whole thing where it's like if they just get to know me,
Yeah.
right? You know, it's like for me it was like all like superficial. Well, as my friends moved away and I got more confident with talking to girls because I did music.
Mhm.
I was in a shitty band with Zach Swan and Adam Sullivan.
You guys were great and cute and adorable, and
Yeah,
I
the
loved
music
you
was
guys.
terrible, but it was a lot of fun and it was
I
a
will
really great way.
listen to that
You will
music.
never find it.
Fuck you.
You'll
I'm
never
not
find it.
marrying you until you show me that music.
It's did not
You
exist.
better fucking show
So-
me that music. I'm
so
going
we-
to ask Adam, and I'm not going to let this go.
Okay, fine. We'll find it eventually.
You better. I'm not letting it go.
I'll
I'm
find
just
it
saying
and
that.
isolate it. So
Maybe
that
they
you-
can make a comeback and play at your wedding.
No, God.
Ooh,
No.
it'd be
A
like wedding
reunion
singer.
tour.
Anyway, after I got more confident though, and I finally had a couple girlfriends under the belt, I realized I this is what made me start changing my thinking on the whole friend zone situation in the first place, of them just not getting to know me enough, and I'm actually such a great guy, and all this stuff. What really changed it is that I realized that I was dating some really pretty girls, and women are actually a lot less judgmental on guys' weight than any guy is on a woman's weight.
Mhm.
So actually, my heaviness has never been a holdback for me. I have enough charisma to talk to somebody, and that's like my strength. The weight's never really been a holdback. I think I've met one girl on the internet who said, "I want to see what you look like in person before like we go on a date," and I was like, "Oh yeah, no to you, bye." You know, I was like, "No, don't just say that to me. Internalize that." You know, but otherwise, the weight's never really been the issue. What I realized was the issue. The reason why these girls didn't like me is because I'm so salty.
Mm.
I'm catty.
You're a sassy bitch.
I'm a bitch, and it wasn't. So all these girls that I always like wanted to like me so badly, it wasn't because like of anything superficial of my weight or anything. It's because I'm just sometimes not very pleasant to be around by a lot of people.
It's just your personality.
And it takes and it took that was a hard kick to the stones to realize that I was like, oh, I actually need to be a better person. And I also, that whole thing with like, man, if they would just give me a chance, I'd be such a great boyfriend. Well, it's actually taken me a few times to get that right.
Yeah.
And I've been divorced, and I've been dumped, and I've dumped.
Well, and just because
And-
you're a good person doesn't mean you'll be a good fit. You can't be a good relationship for everyone. Like, it just, like, even if you can for one, what you deliver is not what everyone needs.
Yeah.
But I realize that too. In the past, like, year and a half, I've been the most confident in, like, my appearance, and my weight, just, like, things of, like, why did I stress about that? Like, I've been a lot more okay with that, and, like I said, my makeup, like, I stopped wearing foundation and stuff because I'm like, this is who I am. Nobody fucking cares. And that's never been, and I realized the same thing. My looks have never been something to deter, well, maybe someone's obviously probably not found me attractive, but
Sure.
they weren't saying that to my face. That's just like,
No.
we just never connect. Me and that person were
Yeah.
ships in the night, kind of, like you were saying.
They
Yeah.
swiped left.
Exactly.
Like-
But, like, actual people that I'm like, we may have a potential connection, that was never a factor. And I've never had a guy, like, I have big thighs, and same with, like, I got boobs really early, and I've always had curves. And most people are like, yeah, girl, I'm into that.
Yeah.
No,
you guys both have a very distinct. Everyone, there are types for literally everybody out there.
Yeah.
Whatever shape and size you are, somebody's into that.
Yeah.
And we were talking today about the whole like racism versus, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're talking. So like people who are like exclusively into like African Americans, or people who like really like gingers, or people who really like this, and like if whatever type of person you are, race, gender, creed, size, shape, whatever, somebody's into that. So that's where the whole friend zone thing starts to fall through. Because why are you focusing so much time and effort on somebody that doesn't want you back when there's literally
tens of billions of people
out there, and somebody's gonna want to fuck you.
Well,
like,
and it's
somebody's gonna want you.
Cliche of like, there are plenty of fish in the sea, but it is true. It's like you get so hung up on that one person, you won't be able to see anything else because you're so determined. And I'm really guilty of that. Of like, when I think I'm into someone, or I'm like I put on all my blinders. So then, like, I'm out somewhere and someone tries to say something nice to me, but then one, it's my anxiety of being awkward and not knowing how to respond. But two, I'll just be like, shut it down, and I was like, thanks, and then turn away. So.
Are you asking me what time?
No, I'm asking you to look at your phone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying to be subtle about it, but no subtlety anymore.
Yeah, so I just feel like it's definitely, as you get older, the friend zone doesn't really become a thing, but it is a.
If you find anybody your age, if you're over 20 and you're still being like, she friend zoned me,
it might not even be an age thing. It's also a confidence thing. It's like once you get to like feeling comfortable.
Can we isolate real quick?
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Have you give me a
testing 1 2 3 testing.
You,
all right.
Make sure you have it at your mouth. Don't get quieter with it, you know. I'll turn you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I hear you through the thing, and
all
I
right.
see stuff.
You can hear me? Testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll adjust.
Anyways.
A little bit, though. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Gotta make sure those levels are right.
Let's I told my friend zone story. Did you tell your friend zone story? Caitlin, did you tell yours?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't really know if I have like a specific friend zone that I don't know. Like, I feel like, kind of like I was saying, is
Have you ever been friend zoned by a dude? I feel like I have never been friend zoned by a dude. I've had somebody ask me, or I mean, like, well, this is really shitty, but I've had guys that be like, you're not 18 yet, fuck off. So that's not really friend zoning. That's more like them covering their asses.
So I don't know if so I don't have a story about friend zoning anyone, because I feel like I've been really I feel like I make it known pretty quickly my intentions.
I feel like I'm that way too, which is why
I am
it's...
now. That one specific case with that one dude was about all I could think of.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this one guy. I hate
Or
this
I
story.
make up excuses. Have you ever made up excuses? Because there was this one guy I had a one night stand with, and he was like, "So are we dating now?" And I was like, "Actually, I feel really bad, but I'm Christian, and this was not good for me to do." And I was like making up bullshit. I was like, "Oh, I feel so bad. Oh, I feel so bad. I did this to you." But really, it was just like, "No, I don't want to date you." I should have been forward with it, but I was a kid, kind of.
I think I might have been. Well, if we're talking about being friends, like this is the closest thing I can think of. Is there's a guy that I worked with who I really liked, but also I was like in between deciding if I. Well, it was weird because I was like, I really would want to be his friend, but also like I'm like I think I have a crush on this guy, but I really just wanted to hang out with him to see if we could be friends or more, and I was just deciding what to do. But I got kind of peer pressured at brunch one day, and my friend Zoe was like, "You need to ask him out. You need to ask him out. You need to ask him out." And I got really embarrassed and really mad. And he came over and she's like, "I'm going to ask him for you." But then I was like, well, I'm 26 years old. I don't need to have a friend ask out a dude for me. So then,
Check yes or no.
yeah, instead of her yelling it at him, I awkwardly was like, "Do you want to grab a drink or dinner sometime?" But I couldn't like preface like, I just wanted to hang out with him. And that was it. And he just was like, "No, not because of you, but I don't really want to hang out with I don't want to date anyone. Like, I'm not doing that right now. I'm just focusing on me."
Well, that's honest, though, at least.
Oh, he was. But I was, like, mad because then we never became friends either or did anything because I, like, made it really awkward and then I don't know, it just sucks. So I feel like if that was, maybe that's the closest to being friend zone, which is fine.
Really quick, we should talk about the male ego, and I know this is not a fun topic if you're a man, but I do feel like every time I've asked a guy out, they're very forward and they just say yes or no. Basically, they don't let you down easy. They're just like, "No, I'm not into you," and it's not a bad thing. I mean, it hurts in the moment, but it's actually not a bad thing. They're very like yes or no about things. At least when I was dating around, they'd be like, "No, yes or no." And girls, we tend to take into consideration male ego. So when a guy asks you out, you tend to not want to offend them or upset them. So it's like a guy asks you out and you're like, "Oh, I really like you as a person," and you're like trying to let them down easy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's how it is.
Oh, I just did that last week.
Yeah.
Like, a guy wanted to hang out, and I was just like, "No, like, it's not gonna work."
And you don't know how to say it
but
in a
I
nice
was like,
way.
Because I also want to iterate, like, I don't want to, well, I
You
don't
want to
like
be
hurting
forward
people's-
and direct. You don't want to give them any
Like,
hope.
I was very straight up, like, "No, like, it's not gonna work. I don't know how to make this, like, that's fine." But it also sucked because I'm like, you are a good person. You're a good human being.
And I value your
And
friendship.
you will find someone, and it will be great, but we are not meant to be together. But I am really awkward and then I just felt
and
so
then you
guilty.
you feel guilty because you're like, at what point in time did I give you the idea that I was interested in
Well,
you?
and my friend Raquel is like, it's okay to do something for you. If you're not wanting to be with someone, just say, like, why?
That's the best thing you could do for another
Yeah.
person is be honest
So
with
it's true,
them.
but I like. But,
Yeah, okay. Well, can you just give him this flyer?
No,
No.
I have no money.
I just feel like I am like really awkward, and then I feel so bad. Like immediately afterwards, I sent the text. I wanted to be like, "I'm sorry, ignore everything I just said. Let's."
And yeah, as a woman, you feel like you should at least give him a chance, and that's unfortunate because men can beat the shit out of women, and men are big scary gorillas.
Which I'm not really scared of that. Which might be.
You should be.
I mean, I am to an extent, but that's not my first instinct with this. Like, that's not why I'm afraid of telling them no. That's not my first thought of like that's what's gonna happen.
Is there more
whatever
hurting feelings?
Yeah, I feel bad because I don't like upsetting someone at all. Like, I don't.
But that
like doing
comes
that.
from the internalized feeling that at any moment they could snap your neck.
No,
No?
like no, it like has nothing to do. Like I feel
Because
bad
that's how I feel.
because I'm sad. I also get sad when things don't work. Like trying to make a friend, or it's like I'm sad that this was not able to work out for us, and I take that in a way that's just like I'm just sad that it didn't work the way we wanted or we hoped for, and like I have to be the one to be like, nope, like it's not. But I also, as I've like got older, like I feel really confident in knowing exactly what I want in a relationship and like if they don't meet those things, like there's things I'll work through and there's other things that are like I know for sure are like a hard, clear no. So it is like you said, it's like why drag it on? Like it's just gonna be worse in the end if I pretend. So I want to do it, and I know it's the right thing to do. I just feel bad because I'm either sad that it didn't work out, or I'm sad, like, I don't like hurting people's feelings.
Yeah, I'm
and
sad
then
that I
then I
gave
think
them-
about them being sad, and then, you know, like, I'm just like...
Yeah, I'm sad that I feel guilty myself. Like, I feel like I gave them the impression that that I was into them.
I never want to
personally.
be the person to hurt someone either.
Yeah.
You know, so that's...
You never want to be the person to reject,
Yeah.
to cause somebody to
Because
be
we
sad
all
about
know what it feels
themselves.
like to be in those shoes, so when you're the
Yeah.
one doing it, it's
The-
hard, but you're doing
Literally
it in
anybody who gets friend zoned, if we still want to use that as a term, if you feel like you've been friend zoned, the best and coolest way to go about it, even if you hurt and even if it sucks in the moment, to just be like, oh, awesome, like I still really value you as a person and I understand completely and I'm sorry that like it's just not gonna work out between us and I still hope that we can be friends. Like,
I don't want to
even if you never be friends, it's cool to just be like that. Don't be an incel and be like, well, you owe me your vagina.
I don't want to reveal too much here because it could be somewhat weird, but I do think that there are two really good reasons to maintain a friendship after being quote unquote friend zoned.
Mm-hmm.
First off, you should never get to the point where you get friend zoned. You should make your intentions very clear from the very beginning. And after a few months of being friends with somebody of the opposite gender or the same gender, whichever you're into, we're open-minded here. If you don't know after a few weeks or a few days that this person is interested in you, they're not.
Yeah.
And even if they are, you need to set yourself up that they're not.
Yeah.
Because they haven't
I
revealed
feel like
that to
most people do, though. And that's
Yeah.
why I was blindsided by that one guy who we were
Sure.
hanging out all the time. But I was also really, really young.
You're young. So the other part of that is that there's two reasons to maintain the friendships with them. So first off, if you somehow you reveal your undying love for them, which you should not do if they have not showed interest to you in like a month, don't reveal your play. There comes a time in your life when you need to play your cards a little closer to the vest. You don't just reveal everything. I love you and I've always loved you. This can't go, because then once they say, well, I've never really felt the same way about you, now you have ruined the friendship.
Yeah.
Because you've revealed too much. You're embarrassed now. But if you subtly make some hint toward that, and then they say that, and then you should be able to read people. I'm telling you, you need to practice your self-awareness and your ability to read people a little more. Two reasons why you should maintain the friendship. First off, if you didn't screw it up by completely just giving all your cards and telling them that you absolutely love them, and you actually just subtly hinted that you liked them, and they said, you're more of a brother or whatever, there's nothing wrong with having more friends.
Yeah.
And maybe from being friends with this person, you can learn more about that opposite gender or the same gender
Or you could
whatever.
hit on their friends.
So the other part of that, completely selfish reason. And you should never tell them that's why you're their friend. But I'm saying is, when you are friends with a member of the opposite gender or the same gender, depending on what you're into, if they are not interested in you, they're still kind of like the Hydra, though. They're going to know more people. It's the basic concept of networking. You're basically networking, but you're networking for your dick or your vagina. But you're essentially meeting one person who's going to be able to provide you connections to other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why we make friends anyways, is you start building this network, regardless of what it is. Maybe it's a professional network. Maybe it's a network of friends. Maybe it's a network to find love.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. There's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't tell the person that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, keep that in the back of your mind, is if you're friends with you, like if I'm friends with you and you introduce me to 3 other friends Now let's take two scenarios into account here. This is something I had to talk to my cousin about. It's why I know it very well. So let's imagine two different scenarios where I'm friends with both of you. Like, okay, so take this situation, and I want to know what each one of you think. Now, I've never told you how much I'm madly, deeply in love with you.
Obsessed.
To the point
it's not
of-
a love. It's not real love. It's fascination or obsession.
Where I've created this relationship in my brain where I would put
Yeah.
you on this pedestal and you only date assholes, but you need to like open your eyes and see that I'm the one right in front of you. Whereas it was more like, I think you're cute, and then you were like, yeah, like you're cute too, but I'm just not into it. Something like that,
Yeah.
right? Now, imagine we just maintained friends where we genuinely hung out and we're into the same stuff and we're friends. Now imagine down the road when one of your friends comes up to you and says, "Man, I'm kind of lonely and I'm looking for somebody." Because I know that happens. It's a thing. Some people have friends that say, "Hey, do you know anyone?"
Yeah.
I've had friends ask me, "Do you have any?" I have a friend who asked me semi-recently, "Hey, does Bree have any single friends?" Because he's a guy that wants to date somebody.
Oh yeah, I've had somebody ask me recently that too.
See, so it happens, right? Okay, now imagine the scenario. There's two of them, right? There's the one scenario where I told each of you, whichever, that I was madly in love with you and that you only date assholes and you should date me because I would have put you on a pedestal. Or the scenario where I was subtle, you weren't the same way. We've now just been friends genuinely for years. Now your friend comes to you and says, "Hey, do you have anyone are anyone of your friends single?" And no, there's the two versions of me. There's the one that came off like a fucking psychopath and created an entire relationship in his brain.
Mm-hmm.
Or there is the one who was subtle and then got subtly rejected, but you know that they're a good person and you hang out with them. Which one are you going to be more likely to tell your friend to start texting?
Yeah.
Which one are you going to do? Play it cool. That's the whole thing, is if you play it cool enough, you can network and meet other people, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's like, for example, the guy that I was recently, like, it's not going to work. It's not going to. But I told him I want to be friends with him. I do want to. I would like to get to know more. But I think he'd be perfect for this other friend of mine who is like, has said before, like, I want to find someone to date. Like, I can't find someone. And she's always talking to me about it. And not, like, in a bad, negative way. But, like, it's a regular conversation piece. And this person, I feel like, I'm like, oh, my God, you guys would be perfect. But he, like, doesn't really want to be friends right now, which makes it hard. But I so badly would, like, if I could just find a way to get these two people just to, like, hang out so then they can see if they connect.
Right.
Because I do feel like that way. Like, it worked. He wasn't too pushy, but enough where I'm like, I know enough about you. I think I got someone for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it always sucks to play matchmaker though, because I feel like when it fails, you're like looked at.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily. Yeah, but if I could even organically just have them both come hang out at an event and be like, hey, you guys both like fishing.
Maybe
or,
they would hit
whatever.
it off.
Yeah, like that. Would be a good way.
Then that's not too much meddling.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point in setting up that friendship. I mean, you still get a lot of benefits out of a friendship anyways. First, I mean, you get human connection. That's nice.
Yeah.
But then also, you're going to network. You're going to meet other people. There's other people out there.
For sure.
And I do agree, though, like, just putting it out there of, like, what you're into. Like, now my thing is, like, when I ask it, it's like, what are you looking for? Like, are you wanting to be in a relationship? Like, also, like, I'll straight up be like...
Long term, short term.
Like, I want to hang out with you because I'm interested in you as more than just a friend. Like, I would like to see where this would go. And like, not being, like... I mean, that's not, like, my first words. But I try to make that known as, like, hey, I want to, like... Because I also want to know, like, right off the bat, like, are we just going as getting drinks as just friends? And that would be fine, but I kind of want to know the boundaries of, like, I don't want to overstep a boundary and come off, like, too clingy or creepy.
You gotta be tasteful when you're rejected too. I had a guy in high school who asked me out, and when I rejected him, I was like, oh no, dude, we've been like best friends for too long, and I really like you as a friend. And he was like, oh well, I heard you only fuck guys you date. And he said that to me, and I was like,
Like,
whoa.
that's a bad thing?
I was like, whoa, dude. Like, I thought we were friends, and you say that to my fucking face, dude? Of course I only fuck dudes I date. Like, it was really kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the end of the
Well, and
friendship.
it's a bummer because that is, like, them saying that like it's a bad thing. Like, oh, you're only going to have sex with someone that you're dating?
Yeah.
You shitty human.
I don't know. I mean, he's a cool guy now, as far as I know. I don't really hang out with him or see him ever. I haven't seen him in years, really. I mean, I guess I saw him at Hogan's one time last year, and it was weird, but whatevs. Past and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that email, Derek. We're just gonna call him Judo Guy. Judo Guy. We talked about him a couple episodes ago. He sent us this email about why don't you quickly sum it up, Garrett? Derek.
Wow.
Love you.
Wow.
Shh.
You're my brother. Will you? Can somebody get me a little more of that though?
Which
While I
one?
sum up, whichever one the grapefruit one.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a past episode, I'm not sure which one. I think maybe 2 or 3 back, we received an email from Judo Guy.
Judo the Dudo.
Judo the Dudo, who got he got like hip tossed something hard by this girl that he has an absolute crush on in his class, and it was so bad. Yeah, perfect. So bad that he had to go to the hospital. He got some broken bones, I think.
Broke his foot.
Broke his
neck.
foot, broke his neck. Yeah, it was a big one, big hip toss, man. It was like Ronda Rousey going to the limit on him, and so I think, to paraphrase, I believe he asked like what he really likes her, but he's wondering if this thing like damaged any of his stock with her, pretty much, or
He was
if he's-
basically like, does she like me or not?
yeah.
Or should I try? Like,
Should I
should
try?
I reach out to her?
And I think our overall thing was like, well, did she send you flowers in the hospital? How did she respect?
Yeah, did she act like she was, had some remorse and that she was interested in you and wasn't just being like, I'm doing this to put you in your place kind of thing. Like, back it off. But yes, and we all had like a pretty agreed, like, yes, you should ask her out, but we gave him some opinion, like tactful ways of how to do it, maybe in a group setting, maybe afterwards, and also
After
waiting
you
till
heal.
he's healed, so he's also more functional, and it's not like there's no chance that she's doing it because she feels bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that, pretty hard to bang when you're like Stephen Hawking too. Just
Yeah.
Like,
In a wheelchair.
I'm really into you. Let me get out of my wheelchair. No, sorry, Judo. Anyway, we asked some questions on the air, and he sent another email
A while ago
to sum up some of the questions that we asked, that you guys asked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read you the email now. So, and I think you guys can provide some more guidance for him now. I think so. Okay. So this is from Judo Dudo, the man who was tossed by his crush, not in a sexy way.
But maybe
Maybe.
in the future.
Hi. I watched your podcast and included my question. I want to say thanks. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it live. I had to work today. But this week, Monday to Friday, I'll be off and would like to do a part 2. I would love to watch it. He loves the show, you guys. That's awesome. To answer your questions, yes, I do think she is interested in me, even though I really suck at gauging such things. But I am sure. She was very concerned and shocked when I was being carted away on a stretcher.
Oh, man.
The imagery is the best. I think I did have a boner, because we did ask if he had a boner. Maybe I was kind of turned on by the whole thing. I would be a little bit.
Yeah.
I said before the show started, man, that's a little... I'm kind of into that Ronda Rousey, I'm like, I don't know. I'd be like, ooh, how rowdy of ya.
Pick me up with your big, strong arms.
Yeah, I'd be a little turned on. Luckily, I can hide it better than a dude. But
That's true. As for her, she is one incredible babe. I guess the guess of, so you guys made a guess of how she might look. Apparently, you're pretty spot on. The guess of resembling a tiny, demure Asian is closest to the truth. She was almost all those things, but was also part Puerto Rican. Whew. I'm getting a little Michelle Rodriguez vibes now. Honestly, I think what is bothering me the most is the embarrassment of having my ass handed to me. Am I making too big of a deal of that? Should I get over it? I really do like her. Damn my male ego. Well, I really do hope you can do a part 2, and if possible, would be cool if I could watch it live this time. Hoping you're watching it live now, Judo Dudo. Let me know. Your podcast made me laugh, and I loved your insight. Oh, and I think I got a way so you can show the pic I sent. He did send a new pic that you guys
Yeah,
can
we put it on Instagram.
Cool. P.S. She did get me a card with a stuffed animal.
Aw.
And the stuffed animal had a fake cast and a neck brace, which she made.
Yes, that's time.
And a plant. Is that a good sign?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good sign?
Of course. Getting anything.
She made you something,
I feel like
dude.
she didn't just buy the thing. Like, then she put some effort into it, like making the cast and stuff. That's where, people buying stuff is like one thing, and people show that they are interested in different ways and have different love languages. But the fact that she also then put extra time into it, like, that to me, like, speaks a lot.
Yeah. Volumes.
She made the cast.
Yeah.
This is a story you're going to be telling your grandkids.
Keep
bud.
that bear, bro.
And I do feel like he does need it, his male, get over that. Because if you're in a co-ed judo class, you need to accept that everyone's going to be on, like, everyone can beat up everyone. You're all there to learn the same skills. And for her to do that, like, he should be just, I mean, it sucks that he got so fucked up in the end. But I feel like he should be able to go to her and be like, great job. Like, you are fantastic. Like, you're a really strong woman. I'm really impressed with how you've been improving. And he'll get there, too. Like, it doesn't mean, like, every time he's just going to be laid out flat.
Yeah.
But you have to respect
That's a really good point.
everybody. Just because also I feel like 2 dudes and 1 dude beating you also sucks, because then you look like the, like in any mating ritual, you're the least superior dude.
Well, not only that,
So you have to just accept it.
It's
and
all
you're,
about skill.
Yeah, you're there to
And
all build
time.
each other up.
and what are you better than her at?
Yeah.
There's a million things. Like, if...
Real quick, though, I don't think you finished the letter.
Oh, no, there's one more part.
Oh, sorry, that was my bad. I just jumped.
No, I finished that letter. There was another one that he sent, though.
The PS? Did you read the PS?
Yeah. The
Oh.
PS was the
gift.
gift.
Okay.
The other part was another one. So to answer any other questions, I only know her from judo class. We've been taking for quite a while, and I've never noticed her throwing anyone else around like a practice dummy. I was the first. Well, that could just be because you're bad.
Dude.
That could be.
I bet you anything, she was just like, her heart was racing because she looked at you, and she was like, I'm going to fucking prove myself.
Well, and, I mean, it is a co-ed.
I
Like, you're
used to
both
do
there.
that.
She wants to, like, be like,
Sure.
Dominant.
yeah, like,
But don't be intimidated by somebody being better than you at something.
No.
I used to do this when I was in elementary school, when I was playing football with all the boys. Like, I used to try my darndest to be better than all of them. And so it wasn't necessarily that I liked any single one of them. It was also that I was, like, just trying to prove myself to the boys.
Which I agree with
So-
that, but I also think, like, everyone, when you're interested in someone, shows off in one way or the other.
Sure.
And this may be her way to be like, hey, check it out.
Yeah,
and so,
could be.
we all show off, like, some are more subtle than the other, but you show that you have skills to be like,
Yeah.
look at what I can deliver.
And you shouldn't be turned away by something that you're not as good at. If I was in a situation where what if I let the fact that Bree's really good at art draw me away?
Yeah.
I'm not good at art at all, and I've tried, but I'm not good.
Mm-hmm.
You're
So-
pretty good. You're better than some.
Well, I'm better than children, maybe some children, but yours is really good. I've never let that drive me away. But what's something I can do that you can do? It's a worthless skill, but we'll sit there and watch a movie with the cartoon voices, and somebody will say one thing, and I'll go, "Oh, wait, that just happened recently."
Yeah, I was like, no, it's not.
Where you know who's doing the voices.
I know who's doing the
Yeah.
voice for it, and I go, "Oh, that's Jenny Slate
Yeah.
from SNL."
Yeah.
And
He's
she-
really good at voices, and he's really good at just, like, knowing movie.
yeah, knowing movies. and stuff.
He knows movie stars, and he knows actors and actresses and
Yeah, and it's not like a really impressive
movie
skill.
trivia. It's good.
But
He's
what
good
if
with
you?
that.
But what if you were intimidated by that? Like that's not a very useful skill.
No,
but
it's an incredibly useful skill for
It's
trivia night.
and it's incredibly useful for podcasting.
Yeah.
Great. But you know what I mean? Like everyone's better at something.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be even a useful thing. Like I might be better at. I don't. I can't even think of anything right now. But there's just things
cooking.
you can. Well, cooking is a useful skill, and I am
It's
better than
incredibly
most
useful.
because
You have the
I put-
knowledge to taste something and be like, that's that.
Okay, actually, cooking is actually a perfect example because so if you were the person I was pursuing, and you went to school for cooking and you're good at cooking, like you've made a career from it, I actually do consider myself a very good cook, but I'm not going to get intimidated by the fact that you can cook. You went to school for it and have made a career from it and are really, really good at cooking, and let that turn my like for cooking and my novice skill to be able to do some stuff, because thanks to special shout out to my mom for showing me stuff and my grandparents. But
Well,
like,
it's different.
you know.
Like, you enjoy a thing. It doesn't mean you have to be good at it. You can just enjoy.
Yeah.
That's how I am. I enjoy cooking a meal for you.
yeah,
I'm not necessarily like
You're
a
good.
chef,
you're good.
but it's good enough to where we
You
eat
get
it
the job done.
and we,
Neither one of us are good at video games, and we both love them.
Yeah.
We both are horrible at video games.
Yeah, we're
but we
pretty
love them.
Yeah, it's not to like rag on him.
No,
like
no,
you're
no.
gonna get better, judo dude. You're gonna get better at judo. I'm not saying
Well,
that you're bad to
yeah,
begin with.
we don't
like,
know like what the.
You
what
you
they're-
could beat all of us up if you wanted.
I just don't
Don't.
think that should be like an intimidating thing to you. Like I think
Yeah,
you should use this as just like you are,
you should just be
You
like,
should just
right
good-
on, girl,
or
right on.
even in the future she can show you more things or whatever it leads to in the
Yeah.
end. But I don't think because like you said, like
I bet you anything he's a fucking engineer and he's all like fucking like a big brain dork and he's like super smart, making a shit ton of money. He's like, she beat me up in judo and I suck, and it's like she's like a mechanic. I don't know, like everybody has their own shit to do, and like you're probably like a multimillionaire. Who knows?
I just feel
don't
like
know.
men need to build women up and women need to build men up, and this is a perfect example of
yeah,
like
I
he
totally agree.
can cheer her on and she'll be able to cheer him on in other things. So
Also, signs point to good. Signs point everything that
Yeah,
you've told
I
us
think
so
so.
far.
For
I
sure.
think you should just ask her out. Be like, and don't make it like a you owe me type thing, like we've said before. Just be like, you know what? I was really impressed by your skills. I want to know more about your technique, and let's go out and have a cup of coffee. Don't talk about the whole situation. Like, you don't have to bring up how she fucking broke your bones.
Tell her how you'll tell your kids about it one day.
Yeah,
it's like, or
That'll
if you
scare
No,
the shit out
don't.
of her.
if you
Don't do that. Don't
I
do
feel
that.
like if you talk about it, just talk about it in a lighthearted way. Like,
Talk
oh,
about
that
other
move that
things.
you did was really impressive. Like, don't
Yeah.
actually talk about like,
Talk about judo
remember when I
class.
broke my foot? like you don't have to actually bring it up that way. But if you want to talk about,
Talk about her. Ask her questions. Bring her out on a date. She'll go. I'm sure she'll go. I'm almost 100% sure. Unless she's already seeing someone and you never mentioned that. And that'd be weird.
Or if he doesn't know.
Yeah, or if you don't know. But if signs point to good right now, and if you bring her out on a date, just talk about her. Ask her questions. I mean, a lot of women like that. That's what I'm saying. A lot of women want to talk about themselves.
yeah. But I feel like it's perfectly acceptable to just be like, hey, I really enjoy, like you said, compliment her, tell her you enjoy being in class together, and see if just like ask for a casual, let's grab
Yeah.
a drink, grab coffee, and then from there you can see if it's gonna be anything further.
Yeah, and I would say like don't go out on a date the day before judo class. I would say make sure there's a bit of a time gap so you can gauge in case the date goes poorly. You have a bit of time to recover, so you see her in judo class again and things are cool again, in case things don't work out. Because you never know. Maybe you guys go out on a date and you end up figuring out, oh, she's not the right person. You never know.
Well spoken.
Yeah, so
You guys want to play a game?
Yeah, we're gonna play a game. Yay! I'm gonna cut it short on this one because we've been at it for a while. I picked out the normal amount of questions to ask, but I'm gonna do.
I don't think anybody's gonna be that upset that you guys went over.
All right. Well, the
It's a
$1
good
million
show.
but actually doesn't take very long. So, $1 million but each time you order something online, you suddenly wake up in the middle of a random surgical procedure. Worth it or not?
No.
Yeah, no. It's not worth it.
That's
I don't
like
know.
one of my fears is waking up in the middle of a surgery.
You
Ew.
can't. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to wake up in a random
Yeah, no, that's too
surgery.
scary.
So that was easy.
Yep.
Moving on to the next one, $1 million. But every time you hear someone say "I love you," you have to suckle milk directly from the closest mammal.
I don't like milk.
I'm gonna say no.
I have to say no because no.
No, I don't. Every time Derek says "I love you" a lot.
I was gonna say
a lot.
yeah,
So I'm not
people-
gonna do that because I feel like my animals would be scarred for life. Poor Sable. Poor dog.
Or the other humans that are around.
Yeah, I
here.
suckle from Derek over there. Just walk right up to him and just start suckling.
Well, if he's the closest one.
Start a suckling.
Just like lapping it up. Mm.
No.
All right.
Moving on. Let's do this one. What meant the most to you when you were 15 years old?
How old are you? Or what grade are we in when I'm 15?
15 is like 7th or 8th grade. Probably 7th grade.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. 7th or 8th grade. I'm going to say 8th grade.
It has to be 8th grade because I was.
Because, yeah, it's got
When
to.
I turned 16, I was in high school, and I would have been a freshman.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely 16 when I was in high school.
So I was 15 most of my freshman year of high school.
I
and the
was
end
15 8th grade.
The
through
end,
eighth
the
grade.
last 2 months. Okay, now I know. What meant the most to me? Oh God, like I don't.
I mean, I'm gonna say my best friend at the time probably meant the most to me. Is that weird? Cause I don't know. I switched friend groups at the time, and I spent a lot of time at her house. She's my ex-best friend now, but at the time we were like sisters and like really close. So I spent a lot of time at her house because my home life wasn't great.
I would have to say marching band, which sounds super nerdy, but right before freshman year is when I found out my mom was
That's
sick.
adorable.
And I was so depressed.
Not your mom's being sick.
Oh, yeah.
Marching band.
I was so depressed and so upset that summer, and like going into my freshman year. Also, it's terrifying going to high school from there.
Oh yeah.
And like going into marching band where I had all of a sudden this really big clique of friends and a really important, and I had a thing where I was doing it every couple days. It was keeping me like motivated and keeping me to do things. It was definitely
Focus.
like
Focus
it was
on
like giving me something to think about other than like being sad.
Mhm.
So marching band for sure was the most important. Like that was really important. Oh, I love marching band.
What instrument did you play?
I played the tenor saxophone in marching band, but for part of it, I played the tuba.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I played
Yeah.
the fucking clarinet like a lame-o.
No, I was a tenor saxophone. It was awesome.
I was like Squidward
Oh,
back then.
Shall we?
Yeah. Let's end it on that high note of Squidward.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show and watching on YouTube. They are at FrienDish Podcast on Instagram, at FrienDish Pod on Twitter. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content. Email us your FriendZone stories at friendishpodcast@gmail.com, and the gals will feature it on the next episode. This episode of FrienDish will be available with all other TSPN podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and, of course, TSPN.fun. And I also wanted to add on here that the music used for Time Spent Poorly Network comes from Incompetech.com, and they're all created by a user named Kevin MacLeod, who creates royalty-free music that you can use for streaming on your websites and streaming on your podcasts and on your YouTube channels, and you are allowed to monetize. He just likes to have credit. So go check out Incompetech.com and look for music by Kevin MacLeod. They're all very good. Sports Program, Basement Boys, and FrienDish Pod are all using the same creator for all of our songs. So thank you to Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com for providing some pretty solid sounding music for